part of our Dharmamulam Katha Shravanam, we'll be seeing stories from the Mahabharata. So before we start, just like yesterday, we'll have a session of quiz, right? I hope you guys are all ready, right? So in India, we've celebrated Vamana Jayanti today. So do you know who Vamana is?
A demon.
Vishnu's avatar.
Vishnu's avatar.
This avatar. Vishnu's avatar.
Okay.
Vishnu's avatar.
Okay, yes. So Vamana is one of the Vishnu's avatara. So what did Vamana do? Anybody tell me? Should I tell the answer?
3 feet of land.
Sorry?
He asked for 3 feet of land.
Super.
6 feet of land.
Very nice. Whom did he ask?
Bali
Chakravarti.
Yes, Bali Chakravarti. Very nice. So, do you know a festival is celebrated in one part of the country? Do you know that name of the festival?
Onam.
Yes.
Onam. Yes.
Yes. Vamana Jayanti is also celebrated as Onam in which part of the country? In India.
Kerala.
Kerala. Right. So, do you know what is the name of the guru of Bali Chakravarti?
Shukracharya.
Very nice. So this is a little tricky. So can you tell me that all the Dashawataras of Vishnu from the beginning? In correct order?
Matsya Kurma Varaha.
Okay, and next?
Matsya Kurma.
Matsya Kurma Varaha Vamana Parshurama Rama Krishna.
Krishna. Balarama. Krishna. Rama. There is Kaliki. Rama.
Okay, so I'll tell you that you were almost, everybody was correct. Probably the order was changed. So I'll just tell you the answer. First is Matsya Avatara, next is Kurma, next is Varaha Avatara, then Narasimha Avatara, then Vamana Avatara, Parashurama, Rama Avatara, Balarama, Krishna, and then finally Kalki. So has Kalki come yet? Has Kalki Avatara been taken by Vishnu yet?
Kalki didn't come yet.
Good. Yes. Kalki, in the Kali Yuga, Kalki Avatara will be taken by Vishnu. Okay. So, related to this, can you tell me who is Prahlada?
A Bhakta Vishnu.
Very good.
The demon Hiranyakashipu's son. A great devotee of Vishnu.
Very good. Prahlada is a great devotee of Vishnu. Can you tell me the name of his father?
Hiranyakashipu.
Yes, correct. Hiranyakashipu. I was about to give you options, but then you guys didn't give the options, I see. Very nice. So, for killing Hiranyakashipu, which avatara did Lord Vishnu take?
Narasimha.
Very good. Very, very good. So, super. So
Narasimha.
very nice. So that ends our quiz session. And a virtual high five to all of you. It was a wonderful experience for me. You've answered almost every question very nicely. So now let's go to our story of the day. So this is actually a story where it is stressed that justice is the best form of dharma. So here we'll see a conversation between Vidura and Dhritarashtra. Acha, who is Vidura? Can you tell me?
He is Gaurava.
Please
Dhritarashtra's younger brother.
Very, very good. So Dhritarashtra's younger brother, and Dhritarashtra had another brother, right? Can you tell me his name also?
Pandu.
Pandu.
Right. So, and Vidura is considered god of what? I mean, he is considered the reincarnation of one god. Can you name that god? Should I tell you the answer?
Yamadharmaraja. Yamadharmaraja.
Amazing, amazing. You guys are super. Yes. So he is considered the reincarnation or an amsha of Yamadharmaraja. Very nice. So now let's go into our conversation with Vidura and Dhritarashtra, right? So this happens in the Udyoga Parva. Udyoga Parva is one of the 18 Parvas. It's actually the 5th Parva in the Mahabharata. So in Udyoga Parva, it comes after Virata Parva, where Pandavas have completed their 12 years of Vanvas and 1 year of Ajnatvas. So in Udyoga Parva, the preparations for the war start. So each side sends their messenger to each other. So a couple of them come from the Kauravas side and couple of them come from the Pandavas side. So the first messenger comes from the Kauravas side. So Dhritarashtra sends Sanjaya. So if you can see this picture, here there are 5 Pandavas, Krishna and Sanjaya. So who is Sanjaya? Can you tell me?
Dhritarashtra's charioteer.
Yes.
The person who always stays with Dhritarashtra.
Yes, he is the charioteer of Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra considers him as a very close person, and hence he sends Sanjaya to Pandavas. Pandavas are currently in Upaplavya, which is the capital of Virata Desha. Right? So currently the Pandavas are there. We are preparing for the war. The armies are gathering at Upaplavya for Pandavas and for Kauravas in Hastinapura. So Sanjaya comes from Dhritarashtra's side to speak to Pandavas, and then he leaves. He leaves and he conveys the message to Pandavas, and then he leaves and getting the message from Pandavas to Dhritarashtra. So after coming back to Hastinapura, Sanjaya advises Dhritarashtra. He says, "See, Pandavas are willing to fight, but they are giving you a chance. So please give their kingdom back to them, and then we'll not have any problem. Otherwise, there will be an imminent war." So this is the message Sanjaya gives, and he says, tomorrow, that is the day he comes, he just goes and meets Dhritarashtra, and the next day he says, "I'm going to tell all these things and much, much more in front of the complete assembly hall." So Dhritarashtra is tensed. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't get sleep that day. So what he does is he summons Vidura. He sends a palace guard and asks Vidura to come to his private chambers. And he asks Vidura, "Please advise me on sleeplessness. I am not able to sleep. Can you tell me why? What should I do to sleep?" So this is what he asks Vidura. Then Vidura says there are 4 reasons for your sleeplessness. As in, there are 4 people who can't sleep, right? He says there are 4 people in this world who can't sleep. I'll tell you those 4 people. The first person is a weak person who feels that a strong person is going to attack him. That is a person who can't sleep, as you can see in this picture. So a weak person is one person who can't sleep because he feels that there is an imminent danger from a stronger person. So that is one. And then we have another case where the person has lost his money. So he feels that anybody who has lost his money. So if you have lose something, if you have lost your money, you will feel tense, right? Oh, why did I lose it? Where did I drop the money and all those things, right? So you'll start feeling tense and then you will not be able to sleep. This is the second person. Now there is one person who is a thief, who loots money from everybody. So that person will also not sleep because he keeps thinking various schemes. how should I loot this person? How should I go and trick this person into giving me his possession, his belongings? So that person also keeps thinking and he doesn't sleep. And then there's one more person who has desires, who needs something, wants something desperately, and he keeps thinking about getting certain things. And hence, that person also doesn't know how to sleep. So these are the four people who can't sleep. So tell me, Dhritarashtra, which category do you come in under? Which person are you? I feel you are the person who comes under the third category, where he feels that because he has taken the Pandavas kingdom and he hasn't given it back, that is why you're not able to sleep. I feel you come under the third category. What do you think? He asks Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra says, that is not the case. I am just assessing the mind of Yudhishthira. So can you please tell me, since you are a very close person to Yudhishthira, can you tell me what would Yudhishthira be thinking? Then Vidura says, see, Yudhishthira is a very, very good person. He will not think any bad things about you. He always respected you as his father, as a father-like figure. He's always, you and your sons have troubled him, have harmed him, but he never bore any of those things. He bore your ill things on him, but he never did anything to you to harm you. So please give away his kingdom to him, otherwise you will face a lot of problems. That's what Yudhishthira says. Sorry, Vidura says. And then he says, he gives the characteristics of a good person and a bad person. He compares Yudhishthira to a good person. So he says these are the characteristics of a good person or Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is a great person, a very, very knowledgeable person. He is powerful, extremely powerful, because he is himself a very powerful king, but he has the support of all his brothers, right? So it makes him fivefold more powerful than any person alive in this world. So he's very powerful, but his good quality is he has a lot of patience. Then he donates wealth. He donates, even if he doesn't have, he will make sure that the other person is not returned empty handed. That is his greatness. He comes from a good family. His father was a king. You're his Periappa, you're his Pedanana. But even then, he comes from a good family. He is humble. The most important characteristic of Yudhishthira or any great person is that person is very humble. And he is righteous. He is a person who follows dharma. He is righteous. And he doesn't have any ahankara or false pride. He doesn't have vanity or garva. That is the hallmark or characteristics of a good person. Now let's see how Vidura describes a bad person. Here he compares that bad, he considers Duryodhana as a wicked person, as a bad person, because he's given a lot of trouble to the Pandavas. He's troubled all the Pandavas. He's troubled their wife Draupadi. He's troubled everybody around him. He's not a good person. He's a wicked person. So what are the characteristics? How do you define a wicked person? He says a wicked person will get angry very quickly. Unnecessarily, he'll get angry without any reason. If he sees something, he doesn't like, oh no, I'm very angry. I mean, he shows his anger. He is vain. He has garvam or garva. He has false pride or ahankara. Even though he has done nothing in his life, he feels he's done everything. So that is false pride. He feels hurt easily. For small things, he considers that it has hurt his ego and he feels bad, and then he wants to take revenge on the other person. So he gets hurt very easily. Not hurt, not in the sense that somebody hits him, he gets all these things. No, hurt in the sense of mental kind of a hurt, which affects his person. So that kind of a hurt, he feels hurt very easily and he tries to take revenge on the other person who has hurt him. As I mentioned, ahankara, a person who is bad has a lot of ahankara, pride. And he is not righteous at all. He is not a dharmic person at all. Right? These are the bad, these are the characteristics of a bad person. So tell me, what do you see in this video? Anybody? Can you, do you see the video?
A fish and some water. He's in the water and he's like there's no smoke on top.
A fish on a head. A fish on a head.
Blah 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 blah. Smoke on top of it.
Okay. So yes. So a fish is being, a fish is hooked onto this fishing rod, right? So a fish is hooked onto a fishing rod. So generally, when we see somebody fishing, we see that the fishing rod has a small worm on it, and it is lowered into the water so that the fish comes and eats the worm, and it gets stuck onto the fishing rod. This is the concept, right? So so why am I giving you this fish analogy? Is because that is what Vidura tells Dhritarashtra. You are like this fish who is attracted to that worm, and you feel that not just worm, you want to eat the whole fishing rod. Is that possible? It is not possible. As a fish, you can't eat the fishing rod. But that is what you're trying to do with the wealth or the kingdom of Pandavas. You're trying to eat away their kingdom, but it is never possible in your life nor in your children's life. Duryodhana can never take away the kingdom of Pandavas. So that is why he's given this analogy of fish. He says you're like a fish and you can never take away the kingdom of Pandavas. So please give away their kingdom, otherwise you'll have a lot of problem in future. So he says, Vidura advises Dhritarashtra. He says, be like a just king, a king like Prahlada. So we have, you guys have correctly told me Prahlada is a great devotee of Sri Mahavishnu, right? And his father, though was a demon, Hiranyakashipu was a demon and he hated Vishnu, but still Prahlada turned out to be a great devotee of Vishnu. And not just a devotee. After Narasimha Avatara happens, Prahlada becomes a great king too. And he is a very just king. He gives proper justice to everybody. And that is why he is considered a great king. So Vidura goes ahead and tells them a story. So do you see this picture here? What do you see in the picture? Tell me.
Lion.
Lion.
Yes, there are two lions. Can you see? This is also lion. This is also lion. Both of them are ready to fight with each other, right? So that is the analogy. Is so I put this picture because I wanted to explain. So now Vidura tries to tell the story of Virochana and Sudhanvan. Who is Virochana? Virochana is the son of Prahlada, and Sudhanvan is the son of Angirasa. Yesterday we have seen the story of Chirakari and Gautama, right? Both of them belong to the clan of Angirasa. Here, Sudhanvan is the son of Angirasa. And I mentioned Kesni. Who is Kesni? So this story begins there. So actually this story has been mentioned in the Mahabharata twice. Once in Sabha Parva and once in Udyoga Parva, the one which we are seeing now. Right? So Kesini is a very, very beautiful lady. And she wanted to find a very good husband. So she arranges for a Swayamvara. So olden days, ladies used to have this choice of selecting their husbands, right? So both Virochana and Sudhanvan come for getting her hand in marriage. But Kesini says, I am going to marry only the best person amongst you. So then Virochana and Sudhanvan start, they get into a fighting stand and say, I am the best. Virochana says, I am superior to you. Sudhanvan says, I am superior to you. But then there is no it's a stalemate because nobody is there to judge them. And Sudhanvan is a Brahman because he is the son of Angirasa, and Virochana is a Daitya, Rakshasa, because he is the son of Prahlada. So they don't know how to decide, and they say we'll fight till the end. Whoever loses is going to die. So that is the kind of fight they get into. And then say, who is going to tell us who is superior? Then Sudhanvan says, let's go to Prahlada, your father, who is a very just king. right? Okay. So Prahlada, and they go to Prahlada. Then Prahlada sees both Virochana and Sudhanvan coming and he gets scared. Why are these two people coming? They are never together. They always keep fighting. Why are they coming to me? Then Sudhanvan says, "O Prahlada, O great king, please decide who among both of us, Virochana or Sudhanvan or me, is the best and is the correct person to marry Kesini." And Sudhanvan says, "King, if you don't answer or if you answer falsely, you will be getting papa or sin. So make sure you answer it correctly." So having said this, they leave the decision to Prahlada. Prahlada thinks and says, "Virochana, Sudhanvan is superior to you just like his father Angirasa is superior to me. And his mother is superior to your mother, and hence Sudhanvan is superior to you. So he is the correct person to marry Kesini." So Virochana accepts this. And then Prahlada says, "Oh Sudhanvan, please grant life to my son. Now that the fight has been resolved, I have resolved the issue. Please grant life to my son." So Sudhanvan says, "Oh great king, you have delivered proper justice without any putra moha. You haven't shown any partiality towards your son. And hence I grant that he be blessed with 100 years of life." That is how Sudhanvan blesses, and both of them leave. And he asks Prahlada to tell Virochana that he has to uh, take blessings from Sudhanvan in front of Kesini. That was their deal, and that is how the story ends. So what did we learn from this story? So Vidura says the advice that he gives Vidura, and that is the advice that we also should follow every time in our life. He tells Dhritarashtra, "See, Dhritarashtra, this is what Prahlada has done with his son, with respect to his son. He has not been partial. He has not shown putra moha to him. He was a dharmic person. Be righteous in your life. Be a dharmic person. Don't follow the path of adharma. Don't show partiality. I understand you are blind. You always have this great love for your son Duryodhana, but in your blindness and in your partiality, don't lose the one aspect of dharma. Because once you lose the path of dharma, nobody can save you. So don't show partiality. Give away the kingdom to Pandavas. Don't be jealous. You have been jealous of Pandu because he was given the kingdom ahead of you, because he didn't have any problem, and since you were blind, though you were elder, he was given the kingdom, and since then you have harbored this jealousy towards Pandu and then eventually towards his children as well. So don't be jealous. Don't be jealous of their wealth. Don't be jealous of their kirti. Kirti as in uh, the fame that Pandavas have got. So don't be jealous of both of them. The kirti and the fame that the money that Pandavas have, give away their kingdom. And don't be greedy. You have a kingdom, you lived a great life. If you give away their kingdom, both Kauravas and Pandavas will have Sandhi. And both of them will be kings of their respective places. Yudhishthira will be the king of Indraprastha, and Duryodhana will be the king of Hastinapura after you. So don't be too greedy and try to grab everything of the Pandavas. Otherwise, ultimately, you will face Pandavas in the war and you will die. Your whole clan will be washed away or from this planet Earth. So make sure that don't you be greedy. So this was the advice given by Viduratha Dhritarashtra, and this is also our moral of the story. So here I end the story.
I'm okay.
I want one more story.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
All
please
right.
go ahead.
One more story.
Okay, we are giving it. Okay, yeah.
Okay, super. I'm really very happy. Yeah. Okay, this will be a small story, right? This is also from the Mahabharata. So this story gives us the essence of pride and humility. So this is the story of a Maharshi called Jajali and a businessman or a merchant called Tuladhara. Right? This story happens in Shanti Parva. Yesterday we have discussed Shanti Parva as mostly a dialogue between Yudhishthira and Bhishma. So, Jajali was a Maharshi. He was a great Maharshi who used to undergo severe penance. So, whenever there was rain, he used to go and stand under the rain to do his penance. And similarly, every kind of difficult situation, he used to make sure that he is present there and do penance. One day, what happens? There was a huge rain. There was a huge thunderstorm, and he thought, I'll go and stand underneath the thunderstorms and I'll do my tapasya. Once he was standing there, two Kulinga birds are basically sparrows or birds like sparrows, small birds. So they come because of that thunderstorm, they need shelter. And this person who was undergoing such a lot of severe tapasya grew, his hair became matted, and it was like a big nest. So the birds saw this and they came and sat on his head. So they thought that the birds thought that this is like a tree. So since the person who is doing tapasya, Jajali, knows that somebody sat on his head, he made sure that he didn't move at all. So the Kulinga birds were very happy and very safe in his head. So sometime later, they found that this is a very good place. His head was a very good place. So they built a nest on his head. A sparrow nest. So they built a nest on his head. Then also he didn't move. So all this while he was the Maharshi Jajali never moved at all. So they built a nest. Sometime later, they had babies. The eggs hatched and they had baby sparrows. The baby sparrow started playing on his head. Then also he didn't move at all. So the baby sparrows started eating food, and then they started flying for a little distance, going a little further next day and coming back again. Finally, all the baby sparrows as well as the parents, both all of them left, and nobody came back. Then after such a long time, then he moved. And then slowly Ahankara started creeping into his mind. He thought, I fathered all these birds, so I am the best person there is in this whole world. He becomes haughty. He becomes very proud of his achievement, that he's made sure that he's not harmed the birds. And because of this great deed that he has done, he is the best person. So he had pride, he had ahankara, he had garva. He thought that he is the best person. There is no other person in the world who's like him. He is the best. And then he started thinking that he is the only dharmatma present in this whole world. Then suddenly, and one day, he goes to riverside and does his Sandhya Vandana, and he exclaims to the world, I am the only dharmatma in this whole world. That's how he exclaims. And then there is an Ashalila Vani or an Akashavani which says, Oh Jajali, you are not the only dharmatma in the world. There is a person, Tuladhara in Varanasi, who is far better than you. Obviously, after listening to this, Jajali becomes angry. Who is this person who is better than me? So he wants to investigate. So he goes to Varanasi. There he meets this business Tuladhara. Tuladhara is a businessman who has a shop there in Varanasi. So he goes. And Tuladhara knows that Jajali was coming to meet him. So he meets Jajali. When Jajali goes and meets Tuladhara, Tuladhara says, Oh great Brahmin, oh great Rishi, I know why you have come. I know that you were doing tapasya, you had birds on your head, the birds became big, and then you fathered those birds. So birds finally left, and you thought that you are the best person in the whole world. You developed ahankara, and that is why you were asked to come to me. So he knows all these things because he is a better person than Jajali, right? So then Jajali asks him, Oh Tuladhara, please tell me, how did you know all these things? Why did the Akashvani send me here? So Jajali says, Oh Rishi, there is I am a businessman, but whatever I do it honestly. I don't cheat. I am a dharmic person. I follow righteous path. I don't cheat anybody. I only have good thoughts in my life. I always think good of others, be it animal, bird, anything. I always think good thoughts only. I never have any quarrel with anybody. I don't quarrel with anybody for any reason. I have no desires. I don't think that I want this. I want to become the best merchant in the whole world, or I want to own this stuff or that stuff. I don't have any of such kind of desires. And I want equality in everything. I look for equality for anything, be it animals, birds, be it inorganic objects, organic objects, anything. I look for equality in everything. And I'm not averse to anything. I don't show aversion. Aversion means, gee, I don't like this, I don't like that. That kind of thing I never do. So I don't have any kind of aversion. And then I pray for universal harmlessness. I make sure that nothing is harmed around me. That is what is universal harmlessness. He says, he is in Varanasi, right? He says, our mind should be clean. Our mind should be clear. It is like a tirthasthana. Our mind is a tirthasthana, a holy place. And if our mind is not clean, even if we go to 100 holy places and take dips, do ablutions from that water, say Ganga or some other place, and do ablutions, that will not clear our mind. We'll still be that bad person only. So first of all, we need to clear our mind, have a clean mind, have a good mind, have proper thoughts, and then our mind will become a tirthasthan, and then it will be good. So then, while he was explaining all these things, he sees a flock of sparrows flying above them, a flock of birds, not just sparrows, other birds also. He said, I see that there are some birds flying above us, and I see some sparrows. I think a few of those sparrows are the ones whom you fathered, right? Ask them to come. Since you are their father, ask them to come down and ask them whatever I have said is correct. So Jajali calls all those birds were nesting on his head, right? So he calls all those birds and asks them. So I have just discussed all these things with Tuladhara. He was telling me all these things, the dharma, nitis and all. Is this correct? So the birds say absolutely. We have seen a lot of our in our travels. We have seen a lot of things. He is absolutely right. So what is the moral of the story? We have to be very humble. So, what was the mistake Jajali committed? He became proud. He became proud of his achievement. No doubt he did a great job of fathering those birds when there was a big thunderstorm. He's done a good job, but he shouldn't have that ahankara. No, I am the only person who could take care of those. No, that kind of thought shouldn't enter. So be humble, be righteous, be on the right path, be on the correct path. Never falter, never go on to do wrong things. And don't have ahankara or pride. So this is the moral of our story. That's it. That is our story for the day. So how did you like it? Did you understand?
Yes.
Yes. Story.
Yes.
Anyone of you know that Shibi Chakravarti? No?
No.
If you understand, then there's no problem. Even if you guys don't have any questions.
I understand.
Very good.
understand.
Very good. Very good. I'm very happy that I was able to.
I understand. I understand.
Super, super.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Thank you for the
Bye.
story.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank
Bye.
you for the story.